Okay, so basically, I am working on a little card game. This is it's a service I joined up maybe 12, 13 years ago called the Game Crafter. Um, Basically, what they let you do is they let you upload artwork to put on cards or game pieces or the actual box that contains them. So here's like a box art that I uploaded. You can see how they have these guides. If I disable, you can see how these lines appear. So they mean different things. The red outline is the trim line. Green lines they represent where the box will be folded, and then the blue dotted lines, dashed lines, are where what do you call it? That is where the cut mark is. So basically, you have something called drift, where the something might not be lined up perfectly with where the machine tries to cut versus where it tries to print. And I don't know what I can do about this overhead light. I've got an idea. Wait 1 second. I got a little light here. Okay. So hopefully that's some better lighting. Okay. There are parts that I don't have any artwork here because that's where there's glue, and they give you a template that actually helps guide you of where things should be printed. You can notice there's actually no dashed blue lines on these tabs on the folds, but I have artwork there anyway, but I gave myself enough buffer, I guess, so that if the print is off, you'll still see all of the artwork. So this particular box, they allow you to see it in 3D. And here we go. This looks like something you could buy in a store. You can look at it in all different angles. I came up with a little brand logo, the Barda Bazaar. I do have a website called the Barda Bazaar, so I have that for that. The front of the box is here, and the game is actually called Bizarre and Unbalanced, and I have a donut being weighed against a stack of bricks. And I just have weird things thrown in there like mustaches. This is supposed to be a rubber chicken. I just had a very difficult time trying to get the AI to generate a rubber chicken. So a lot of this is actually AI generated artwork. But then after I generate the artwork, I combine a lot of the different images that it generated into a final image. And I could probably go into a little bit of that later. You'll probably going to see most of this image here is various combinations of AI generated artwork. In fact, I might be able to show you some of that. So if I go to, would it be front template ideas? So this is, you can see the gesture hat here, but there's scrolls at the bottom, and that's a little bit different than what I had on the other image. So you can see the two scrolls at the bottom where they're not angled, and then there's 3 scrolls at the bottom on this one. Let me see, is there other stuff here The coin from this one at the bottom was used. I'm trying to figure out where my mouse is. At the bottom here. So that's the only thing I borrowed from that image, was just the coin. I was just looking for one of the good ones that actually had the coin represented in a way that I appreciated. Let's see, and I think, is it this one? No, it's this one. So you can see this this area here. That area there, as well as these stars. So all these stars on the borders, I use over here. You can see the stars. And then that scroll is right here in the middle. And of course, that's a photograph of myself in my hobo clown makeup. And then there are a lot of elements in this piece of art, I would say, that are actually moved around. The wand was rotated a little bit to make room for the scroll down here. We have the D6 that was moved down a little bit. So it's not 100% AI generated. It is AI generated, but then there have been some modifications and changes. So that's the main thing that's happening here. There are some elements here. I'm trying to think what actually has changed. I'm trying to think. I think the height was one of them, because my heights don't align properly. I'm trying to figure out where the height is. I think these lines here, the yellow vertical lines, I think I broke apart this line down here and pretty much took most of everything else and dragged it up and filled it in with black. I think I did a little bit at the bottom as well. I don't know about the Bizarre and Unbalanced. I think that was already there. I'm looking real quick for this image. And I'll show you what I'm looking at. These are the different things I had the AI generate for me that I was interested in. And once I found what I liked, I picked it up. Okay, I know what the problem is. I'm looking at front templates. This is a back template. Where are the back template ideas? There we go. Here we go. So I don't know if that's the original. I don't think that's the original. So here's... Is that the original? No, they're close. These are the changes. Where is... Here's the original. Okay. And I am going to show you. Where's my card backing? So we'll go with that. So on the left is kind of the proof. There are some fixes I do need to make to it. So I'm not sure if you can see this. So the star here at the bottom, you can see how the bottom is aligned. That bottom point is aligned to close to the bottom of these yellow stars, whereas here the bottom is more aligned to the tops of the yellow stars. So you can start to see there's some differences. This card is a bit more vibrant. I don't know how to convey that any more than just saying it's more vibrant. Like the purple is most noticeable here and here, Whereas you look at here, it's kind of like desaturated a little bit. This is very much more. This is much more red. This outline, as well as down here. Whereas this one, it's more of a brown. There's a little less saturation again. I'm trying to think what happened on the. Okay, this yellow line and this yellow line. That's where you're going to see it extended a little bit. The same thing with this little yellow line down here. And this one got a little bit taller because the ratio had changed and I needed to make the card taller. So, yeah, there's not much. I don't think there's any outside elements in this one other than I'm moving and stretching elements around. And then I'm adjusting color. So there's some cool things with this box here. And I want to just show you what you can do. So one of the nice things is the material that I'm going to print with has a thickness and it's usually white. So you can actually see that white material, the thick whiteness there. So that's pretty cool. You could see the flap that you tuck in. I made sure that the star here was centered to have something to look at, but it's not really a focus. It's like I hope it's there to help that it's aligned, but if it's not going to be a big deal. One of the cool things is they let you open the box. So here we go. You can see I have some of the elements from the front of the box. Jelly beans. We have that coin. We got the blue stars and the mustache. Wait, where's the mustache? Oh, sorry, it's from the back of the box. So there's the mustache, the jelly beans, and the coin. However, the blue stars there, they are from, I believe they're from the front. Are they not from the front? Where did I get the blue stars? Where? Oh, where? Oh, I know where it came from. I know exactly. It came from here, right in the middle. Because if you go... I know where it's at. So if I go back down here and I go to the front cards, card front templates. The weird thing is the card fronts are actually the back of the box. And the back cover of the cards are actually the front of the box. So it kind of messes me up. So you see this little blue star here that used to be in the middle up here, but it had to move. Now you can kind of see the blue stars down here at the bottom below the moons on the side. They kind of look like it. So that's where that blue star came from. And then you remember the flourishes on the side. They're from the corners here. So we have the corners of the flourishes. However, the stars, like there's stars next to it there and there, they are from, there's a set of stars here. And I believe the other set is these stars here. Wait. No, the other set is from these stars here. So this set is from here. And then this set is from here. And both of them were rotated. It's just by chance that these ones look like they're in the same alignment here. Yeah. So the cutting lines, we were talking about drift, or the cutting lines represent drift, so you can see how what happens if the printer is off, and they give you this safe zone so that if you are off, as long as you're in that safe zone, your artwork will still appear on the correct side of the box. I can randomize the direction, so you can see the areas that I don't print in are just fine. So this one's too far to the top. So we have a thick border on the left and the bottom and the right. Or really it's the bottom that has a thick border. But it's still fine. If we close the box, you can see I don't have that little star there anymore. Here I randomize the drift. Now the star is at the top here. It's still on the correct flap. And we're starting to see one of the jelly beans appear. Yeah, so this looks pretty good to me. I would really be disappointed if it got printed like this, but it's still good enough. I may just go ahead and order a few once this is ready, just to see what to expect. I don't know. Now you'll see that I have something here called RE Cubicle 13 with a little icon of an office chair, and that is in relation to an album that I have coming out soon, called Regarding Cubicle 13. That is AI music generated. I pretty much let everybody know, hey, I used AI to create the music. I created visuals with AI. A lot of the lyrics is on me, but what I ended up doing was I was playing with this AI music platform just to experiment with what it was. And I was actually having a ton of fun with it. And I was like, okay, what's involved if I actually want to pursue it? No, before that, I decided to come up with a concept album, like kind of an idea. So if I go here, Fusion, and I go to where I'm at. So I had a ton more songs I created than this, but I've deleted a lot of the songs as well. So I'm down to 45 songs that I created. I did a lot of funny stuff like songs in Latin. I have one about a dog named Brutus that farted at the in front of the senators at the dinner table. There were a lot more about a cat who triumphantly steals the cheese. A lot of songs about a guy who's really punk, but he's been domesticated. Wow, Kirsten Curiate got pretty crazy. Just creepy, weird things. I like to eat dairy, but it doesn't like, my body doesn't like it, so I made some songs about that. I create a lot of songs about mundane things. I'm down to 5 songs now. So, eventually I went ahead and created a concept album about the time that this one guy wakes up to the time that he goes to sleep, and pretty much everything's against him. Every object's personified, and he works in a corporate office job, and I don't know, just everything about him, even though there's a lot of myself in there, or a lot of things I've heard about or seen or just read about, there's a lot of me in there. The first go round, I created this concept album, and it changed a few times. I think at one time it was called Nobody Wins on a Tuesday. now it's just existential workday. It's just, you have the time of day, you have these album titles, and you have these different genres of the music that goes with it. And I actually liked it. I would, listen to it a lot. And I was thinking, what's involved with that. And I looked up lots of things. So I can't sell this. I can share links to it and stuff. I can't monetize it. So I had to go ahead and purchase their plan and redo everything. So I have another album, which is just a playlist called Cubicle 13. And some of the titles have changed. There's a lot more of myself in them. Whereas the other playlist looks like it just feels very empty and unfocused, or there's just you're singing about one thing in the other one. And this one, there's a lot of funny stories. And then I start working on the cohesion to make one song talk about another song or refer to events that happened earlier in the day. And then there's this story. Well, there's two stories really. One is about the disappearance of Karen 22 years ago. Apparently, this guy's been working in the office for a long time, or somebody told him the story about Karen. Who knows? And then the other one is about his family lineage, and apparently, his father and him and his children, his whole lineage is cursed with having lukewarm coffee or something like that. Um, yeah, but it gets very fun. So I create this album, and then I start looking at what would it take to distribute. And so right now I have everything set up to distribute the album to different platforms using DistroKid. It does take some money, but it's something doable. So I was thinking about the time it took to put this together. I might be able to get another album out by the end of the year. Who knows? Maybe more. I don't know. And then once I got all that set up, I did have a music video made as well. But I also have a website made up. So this is the website. I now have, I just decided the brand for the board games that I was making with the Game Crafter. I would just use that as the brand logo for the Barda Bazaar. And then I was just using my profile picture of me as a clown as the brand, but this looks more professional, I think. So then you see who I am once you come back here. And I try and make sure, hey, I'm using AI generated sound and imagery. I do have an honorary PhD, and now that I've gotten past the probationary period of being a clown, I was able to change my name, and I stuck with Leonardo, but I said, okay, just put doctor in front of it now that I have that PhD, which is honorary. And for anybody who's not aware of what this is, you can go online, sign up for your own PhD. It's non-accredited. So I'm like, anybody with an unhealthy relationship can acquire. And then this is just me being silly without the makeup. Because some people, they see clowns and it's hard for their brain to... There's a psychological aspect to it. It's completely normal. That doesn't happen to many people, but it does happen to people, and it's kind of scary. Even though I don't look like the scary clowns, for some people, because the makeup doesn't go normal, it triggers something in their brain that just doesn't feel right, I guess. And that's something that I've been told with the clowns that they were telling me about, just to be aware of. So I do have a regular picture of me. Regular is an understatement, I guess. And every clown has a little car apparently, so I put a picture of my little car. It's smaller than most smart cars, but it's pretty old. Um, yeah, so once I got the website up, um, I made the music video before I made the website, so I can actually go here now. This won't be released until next Friday, but you can kind of like see like it's just images one after another timed to the music. And then I have a lot of these filtering effects and transitions that tie it all together. I did have captions at the bottom, but DistroVid does not want captions, so I had to redo the video without the captions. And I had to redo the first image so that the title was not displayed. And also, like, I had artist information in the corner, like MTV used to do when I was a kid. And then the last image I had to change so it did not show the title either. So, and then there was a middle, somewhere in the middle. There was a frame in the middle that also had somewhere around here also had the it was harder to see, but there was a watermark of the artist information in case people grabbed it. But DistroKid's like, hey, we don't want any of that. So these are actually pretty easy to put together. I did try delving into trying to animate the marionettes. The problem is every time I try and animate it, it does things I don't want it to do, and it's only 5 seconds I can animate it. And I don't know if you noticed, but these are very quick scenes. They're less than 5 seconds. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. One, it's like nothing's longer than 5 seconds. I just want to actually keep move. So it is a good candidate for the videos, but it's just I can't get them to do what I want them to do. And the other problem is I can't get persistent characters. So you notice this guy's sleeping, right? Look at his face. He's got a different face. That's just the same image. Now we've got a different face. Every single one of these is just, now he's an old guy. Now he's a different face. Now it's like, this is a completely different puppet. So that's the other problem I have, is I can't persist characters. I think if I wanted to really move forward on something with this style of marionettes or whatnot, I would actually have to create all the models in like 3D Studio, whatever the big thing is these days. I don't know if it's Maya or something. My luck, I would have to divert back to like Blender because I can't really afford much. Yeah, but this is like, that's a guy in the hallway. He looks completely different. Now we've got a drawn-on face. There's no persistent character. So that's a big problem I'm running into. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna roll with it, see what happens. People are more into the music. They're impressed that I can actually put this together. But those are the people I know. Those aren't the professionals. And I think the professionals are gonna be like, look, this guy, he's just slapping together a lot of images and throwing effects, and they're going to point out every little detail I just pointed out, and they're just going to say it's just slop to them. Yeah, these are the tools I have to work with. This is how I generate my images, the AI generator. Let me go back to here, DistroVid. I'll go back to my website. So I got the album. I've got a track list. This goes to DistroKid. You can see up there. People can, right now they can pre-save on Spotify. I haven't seen it actually appear on Spotify as the artist. I do see it appearing on Apple Music and iTunes. Excuse me. I also saw it was listed on Amazon Music, but they like already knocked off 50 cents off the price that I had set. See, I threw up my own website, which we just came from, and then there's this merchandise. So I just said, okay, what else do artists do? They go on tour. I can't go on tour unless I'm just showing music videos and talking about what I did. Maybe, I don't know. But I figured when people go on tour, they have merchandise. Well, I create merchandise. Right now, I'm just creating things related to what's talked about or sung about in the songs. We have a coffee mug, and I have like a quote from one of the songs from the coffee song. I have a mannequin marionette going into a vortex of time of office cubicles and big giant clocks. This, excuse me, this hoodie is based off of the song "Choose a Temperature, You're Coward," where we've got a guy screaming at a microwave, and I'm not sure. You can't read that here, I don't think, but it's pretty much like Nuke and Ice Age and Bad Snacks or something like that. I have a little Chaos logo, as well as a little advertisement for the album in the Bart of Bazaar. So this is Zazzle. They let you upload artwork and they pay you the royalties to put that artwork on their products. And they let you set up a little store. So I should probably... So right now I have... Let me change this. Upload media. Download refute. So I created the logo for the Barda Bazaar. So instead of using my face, I can start using that. That's much better. All right. So I can see all the products. There we go. Now if I go to that product, you can see, was it down here? Why is that still my old face? View their store. Okay. Z rank. I don't know what Z rank is. I don't know if 2 is good or bad. I'm still in the middle of creating products. That's a lot of collections. So I'm creating a collection for each album. So all these are part of the Regarding Cubicle 13 collection. They seem to really want to push people to have a lot of product. And I don't like being pushed for product right now. I could probably make 10 objects based on things in the album. I think they have like keychains, so I'd like to make a set of keychains for the song where you lose your keys in the door. The Community Ideas Help Center. I don't know why. Let me go here. Now that has the logo there. So was it just this guy didn't have the logo? Yeah, what's going on here? Anyway, let's not worry about that. The Bard of Bazaar. Okay, so I got merchandise, and then I was starting to wonder about what more I could do with this to set it apart. Because, like, for one, I'm not a music artist, and from my understanding is a lot of music artists have enough trouble trying to get started or kicked off or into getting elevated to their whatever status they're going for. Um, so I was starting to think about how this could go and be applied to games, because games are the main thing I like to do. I always daydreamed about doing that kind of stuff growing up. Excuse me. And so I was thinking more like less computer games, but then I was also thinking of board games. And that's how I came onto the online, not the one, the Game Crafter. All right, so let's go back here. So they let you create these. They let you choose components in your game that you want to make. They'll print on all of those components, and then they'll, if you have a box, they'll put the items in the box, and then they'll ship it packaged appropriately. Now, the way this is set up, this is going to cost quite a bit of money. We're pretty much talking about, I don't know if you've seen tarot cards. They're kind of bigger than playing cards, usually taller. But that is the size of cardstock that I'm using for this right now. I could go with smaller cards. I have been debating it. I just haven't made a decision either way yet. Right now, I'm really focused on creating all the cards, creating the artwork for the instructions and the packaging. So once you have all that ready, then you can start converting it to whatever size you feel is more appropriate. And I think the cost right now is concerning, because like a tarot deck of like this size, I think is like 15-20 bucks. Now they do have bulk cost values. But you can see there doesn't seem to be a difference here in the cost, whether I'm purchasing one item or 1,000 items. So I'm kind of a little confused about that. It might be because of the things that I've chosen are fairly generic. I don't know that quite yet. One thing is, my game was, I wanted my game to have 52 cards, kind of like a playing deck of cards. However, the card crafting deck needs to be in increments of 10. It's just weird because of you get 10 cards to a sheet. If you only include 9 cards, that sheet is still used. So you have a blank card that's being thrown away, but you're still paying for. So that's a bit of a problem that I've been having to debate with. You can't get the exact card counts that you want unless you add one as like some kind of advertisement for another game, or maybe some rules. I don't know. All right, let's go back to our components. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of decks. Actually, this should just be, I only need one of those. That should reduce the price. Okay, so now we're at $23.18, because now we have 50 cards instead of 80. The tuck box can fit 90 cards max. The instruction manual counts as the thickness of 2 cards. So that's why I'm limited to 80 if I have an instruction manual. If I change this up to like 5, you're going to see a message over here that says it didn't do it. Because that would be 90 cards there and then one more. Let's just do it with 6, just so you can see it. Huh, it didn't do it. It didn't do it. Why didn't it do it? I know why. Because I don't have enough cards right now in here. That's why. No cards. No cards. Okay, let's change this back to 1. And we'll change this to 5. So that'll be 90 cards. Well, let's just change it to 9. There we go. So the game is using a box, but we do not believe its components will fit in that box. The problem is the events thing, we don't have any cards, so it couldn't figure out that calculation anyway. If I actually went to print, 9 times 0 is still 0, whereas this has cards in it. We've got 3 cards. All right, so that's cool. What I'm trying to do is set this up as if you buy more than one deck, you can have different cards. But I want to make sure, because this is like a starter deck, I want to make sure you have so many allies and so many escapes, so many burdens. So I had to split them into separate I'm trying to think, because I might have done this a little. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's 7 different categories here. The issue here is I wanted to make sure there was like some cards could be rare compared to other cards. So you have this class name and quantity. And so if I want to have so many burdens, but some of those burdens are rare, I had to create a separate deck of just burdens, all of the different burdens you could have. And then have it pick out, okay, only one rare burden, 2 uncommons, 7 common, something like that. So this, I'm not sure if I've set this up correctly, but that's kind of like the idea that I'm trying to do. So right now I'm just trying to create all of my common cards, and eventually I'll get all of my uncommon and rare. I've got to figure out which is which. For some of these, it's all about ratios. So for burdens, I would have to have 10 burdens, 20 burdens, or 30 burdens. I have to go by multiples of 10. Now, allies and escapes are a bit different because I need less of those. And so I combined them. And you can see how I weighted them. So escapes only 40% here. 3 plus 1 is 4. And the allies, we have 60% of this is going to be allies. So we got 3, 2, and 1. That's 6. So 6 plus 4 equals 10. 10 plus 10 multiplied by 10 is 100. So you can start figuring out the percentages of everything. And it's kind of crazy trying to figure out the math. I might change things around still later. I might change it around so that we don't have to worry about the whole common, uncommon thing and rare cards. But I'm just taking advantage of something that they offer. Right now, I just have to create exactly this many. And if I only have 3 common allies, 2 uncommon allies, and 1 random ally in this deck, because I chose no duplicates, it will always send the same cards to everybody until I start adding an additional rare ally or an additional uncommon ally. Then it would start doing the randomness for people. Let's see. Once all of this is set up, I can start to go into the idea of boosters and just go with the common, rare, and uncommon kind of deal, and just include all the cards with their proper classifications. It's just that I need to make sure the starter deck has the equivalent of, I need so many effects, so many burdens, so many allies and escapes to make sure the game on its own is playable. The instructions are optional. I mean, it does cost money to include this little fold, and they show you how everything will bend. They give you the cutting lines. You can see a lot of the same artwork here, and right now I just show you how you can start the game on this, how you win, lose, there are no ties, and the concept of whelm and overwhelmed being the way that you win or lose. The back, this actually should be the back. Done proofing because the same card is here. I think the folios, they allow you to have the same back. And you can create multiple fronts. So if you have like 4 different roles to play in the game, you can have those instructions here, but still keep the same back so nobody else knows what your role is. That might be ideal, because that gives me the ability to introduce certain certain powers or things that you can do, or goals for you to win. So when you win, when you meet one of those goals, you can reveal who you are to the other player. Yeah. So here's the problem right now. The box I have only fits 90 cards, or it fits 90 cards. The next smallest box is 40 cards, so you have a 50 card difference. The problem I was having is that I only needed 50 to 54 cards, so there's nothing in the middle. So I have a lot of extra space, but I was looking to see if I could fit dice in, and the dice are just barely too big to take up that space. But I can actually add some more of these books. Like if I could put 4, right? I could do 4 different roles, or even 8. I don't know. So that went up to 2567. 23. Yeah, it's not that much to add roles. So that's another idea I could do. They do have the ability that you can upload rules and let people download them. They can purchase through the game, through the website, or just let them download it for free. I'll probably just set it so I can do it for free. But right now I'm just trying to translate the instructions to the books. So I could do a book for instructions and then separate books to explain to people what the different roles as well. We can add components.